Have you ever said something to your family that you deeply regretted later? Some words can never be taken back, especially as we age. As we grow older, we begin to realize that not everything needs to be said out loud. Some words, once spoken, can change relationships forever, sometimes for the worse. Many elderly people only understand this truth when it's already too late. They share their regrets, wishing they had kept certain things to themselves instead of speaking from emotion or honesty that wasn't needed. In today's video, we'll reveal 5 things you should never share with your family. Things that have led others to regret, broken bonds, and unnecessary heartache. And to make this real, each point comes with a story from someone who has lived through it. So listen closely, because these lessons might just save you from making the same mistakes. Secret number 1, never reveal your true savings to family. Mr. Leonard, now 78 years old, spent his entire life working hard and being disciplined with his finances. He wasn't born into wealth. Every dollar he saved came from years of careful planning, sacrifices, and smart decisions. By the time he retired, he had built a comfortable financial cushion for himself. He was proud of it. But one day, in a casual conversation with his children, he made a mistake. He mentioned exactly how much he had in savings. At first, he thought nothing of it. But soon, something changed. His children, who had never asked for financial help before, started coming to him with small requests. Just a little help with a loan payment here, some money for a business idea there. Then, distant relatives, who rarely reached out, started calling more often, subtly hinting at their financial struggles. At first, Leonard wanted to help. After all, what was the harm in sharing his hard-earned money with family? But the requests kept coming, and when he finally said no, he noticed a shift. Some family members started treating him differently, as if he were selfish for not giving more. Others became distant, as if their relationship had only been about the money. Looking back, Leonard deeply regrets ever revealing his financial situation. He thought transparency would bring honesty and understanding, but instead it led to expectations, pressure, and even resentment. He wishes he had kept quiet, only sharing what was necessary when absolutely needed. Now, he gives sparingly and on his own terms, without letting anyone know exactly what he has. The lesson here is simple. Your financial security is yours alone. Sharing too much about your savings can lead to unwanted expectations and even damage relationships. It's not about being secretive, it's about protecting your peace. Sometimes the best way to help your family is to ensure you never become a financial burden yourself. Secret number 2. Don't share all your health problems with family. Mrs. Linda, now 82 years old, always believed in being open with her family. Whenever she felt an ache in her knee, a headache that lasted too long, or even a slight discomfort after a meal, she would call her children to let them know. At first, they were concerned, always checking in and offering advice. But over time, she started to notice something. Her children began visiting less and calling less frequently. When they did visit, the conversations often felt rushed, and they seemed eager to change the subject when she brought up her latest health issue. At first, she didn't understand why. She thought, "Shouldn't my children want to know how I'm feeling? Don't they care?" But then she realized something painful. Her constant updates about her health were making her children feel helpless. They loved her, but they didn't know how to respond anymore. Every visit felt like another reminder that their mother was aging, and instead of enjoying time with her, they started associating their conversations with worry and stress. Looking back, Linda regrets sharing every little health concern. She wishes she had focused more on meaningful conversations. talking about life, memories, and moments of joy instead of listing her ailments. Now she only shares what truly matters, serious concerns that require their support. Instead of being seen as a burden, she wants her children to remember her for her wisdom, her laughter, and the warmth she brings to their lives. The lesson here is clear. Your family should remember you for the person you are, not for your ailments. Of course, it's important to communicate serious health issues, but constantly talking about every pain and discomfort can push loved ones away rather than bring them closer. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is cherish the time you have with them and let your presence be filled with love, not just concerns. Secret number 3. Never speak badly about one family member to another. Grandpa Samuel, now 81 years old, had always been close to his daughter. He felt comfortable sharing his thoughts with her, even when it came to his frustrations about other family members. One evening, after a particularly tense conversation with his son, Samuel confided in his daughter about how disappointed he was in his son's decisions. He vented about his lack of responsibility, his stubbornness, and how he wished he would change. It felt good to get it off his chest, and his daughter seemed to understand. But what Samuel didn't realize was that his words would not stay between them. Unintentionally, in a later conversation, his daughter mentioned some of what he had said to her brother. What started as a small venting session turned into a wedge between father and son. His son, hurt and resentful, stopped visiting as often. The phone calls became shorter, and the warmth in their conversations faded. The worst part? Samuel never even knew why, until it was too late. By the time he realized what had happened, years had passed. The bond he once had with his son had been replaced with coldness and distance. He regretted it deeply. All that time spent apart. Holidays missed, moments lost, over words that didn't need to be spoken. If he had just kept his frustrations to himself or addressed them directly with his son, things might have been different. The lesson here is simple. Never gossip about family within family. Speaking badly about one relative to another does not solve problems. It only creates division, resentment, and broken relationships. If you have an issue with someone, it's always better to address it directly or let it go. Because in the end, the regret of losing time with a loved one is far greater than the relief of venting in the moment. Secret number 4. Don't reveal every past mistake to your family. Grandma Rose, now 85 years old, always believed in honesty. She thought that by sharing her past mistakes, she could help her grandchildren avoid making the same ones. One afternoon, while sitting around the table, she decided to open up. She told them about the reckless decisions of her youth, the poor choices in friends, the financial blunders, and even the moments she wished she could erase. She thought they would appreciate her honesty and learn from her experiences. But instead of understanding, her grandchildren began to see her differently. The respect in their eyes seemed to change. They no longer viewed her as the wise, gentle grandmother they had always known, but as someone who had made questionable choices in life. Some even brought up her past mistakes in later conversations, teasing her or subtly judging her for things that had happened decades ago. What was meant to be a lesson turned into a reason for them to look at her differently. Looking back, Rose regrets sharing too much. She wishes she had offered wisdom instead of confessions, guidance instead of raw, unfiltered truth. She realized that some past mistakes should remain just that, in the past. Not because they are shameful, but because they no longer define who she is today. What mattered was the wisdom she had gained, not the details of every wrong turn she had taken. The lesson here is clear. Teach lessons, but don't expose everything. Your past is a part of you, but not every mistake needs to be shared. Sometimes, the best way to guide younger generations is to give them wisdom without burdening them with stories that might change how they see you. Let them learn from your insights, not your regrets. Secret number 5. Keep your true opinions about family decisions to yourself. Uncle Robert, now 76 years old, always believed in speaking his mind. When his son announced his engagement, Robert felt uneasy. He didn't think his son's choice of a wife was the right one. He worried about her personality, her values, and whether she was truly the right partner for his son's future. Instead of keeping these thoughts to himself, he made his feelings known. He openly voiced his disapproval, expressing his concerns at family gatherings and in private conversations with his son. At first, his son tried to brush it off, hoping his father would eventually accept his decision. But as time went on, Robert's disapproval became a source of tension. His son started visiting less, avoiding conversations, and even skipping family events. By the time Robert realized the damage his words had done, it was too late. His son had built a life with his wife, without his father being a part of it. The close bond they once had was replaced with distance and coldness, all because Robert chose to speak when silence would have served him better. Looking back, he deeply regrets it. Had he simply kept his thoughts to himself, he could have remained close to his son, witnessing his happiness and being a part of his life. Instead, his opinions created a divide that could never fully be repaired. He realized too late that not every thought needs to be spoken, especially when it comes to personal choices that have already been made. The lesson here is simple. Not every opinion needs to be said. Sometimes, silence is the best choice, especially when a family member has made a decision they believe in. Offering unsolicited opinions, no matter how well-intentioned, can push loved ones away rather than bring them closer. In the end, maintaining strong family bonds is far more important than proving a point. Conclusion. As we grow older, we realize that some things are better left unsaid. Mr. Leonard, Mrs. Linda, Grandpa Samuel, Grandma Rose, and Uncle Robert all learned this the hard way. Words once spoken cannot be taken back, and sometimes silence is the key to keeping peace and happiness in the family. Now, I want to hear from you. If you agree that some things should be kept private, comment 9 below. But if you believe in sharing everything with family, comment 0. Let's see what everyone thinks. Thank you for watching. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.